my couch right. So I'm sitting on my couch right now. I am clothed. So I'm sitting on my couch right now, and I'm just looking out the windows, watching Rookie sit on the windowsill and chilling around. I'm just like, this is like great. Smoking on my weed, my bar, just relaxing, enjoying my Sunday. And I love when just spirit just when you are willing to be an open channel. And not like, oh, you can come in any time, any day, any night, because I'll be having to tell them, no, not right now, not right now. Just I can't right now. I can't be overloaded right now, or because it's a relationship. Same with relationships. I don't have time right now for this, or I do have time. But for the most part, I always say just give me the messages. Like, go ahead, give them to me, give them to me. We setting a bedtime, but give them to me, And I'm just sitting there and I'm looking at Ruhi. I'm just smiling. Like, oh, my cat babies. And I was thinking about a white butterfly just passed. That is my sign. Oh my gosh. I'm not about to cry again. Um, but what the fuck was I saying? My two cats. I have two cats. If you don't know, I have two cats. I have Ruhi and I have Sage. Sage, my firstborn. Ruhi's my second little baby, my little second born. Um, and Sage is like he's spiritually inclined. Like then he would sit on my altar, he would chill on my altar. Like he was allowed to, like, that's okay. If you again, my altar. I shake because some people like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why are your rules on my altar? Make it make sense. Anyway, he would sit on the altar, he would help me pull cards, and he was very protective, like very protective of himself, of me. He loved his boundaries, he loved his space. He was very vocal about it, very vocal cat. I have vocal cats. Let me say that. All my cats are vocal. Okay. We went with the hello mom, like, okay, continuously. And I'm saying was because he's outdoors right now. He's living his outdoor Leo adventure right now. Okay. If I was to do his birth chart, which I do have to do, it would amaze me. Okay. But he's living his outdoor life right now. And I have come to terms with that because I'm thinking about, I also live my outdoor life. Technically, my mom, I'm not talking to her right now. He's talking to me right now, probably for different reasons, most likely. But here we are. Life happens. And that comes also to a part as well. And so he's gone. And if anybody knows, Sage would leave a lot. I would talk about how he would leave a lot, leave for months, leave for days, and he'd just leave. And he'll come back like nothing ever happened. Um, and so I'm thinking about him, and I'm just like, and I'm looking at Ruki, and I'm thinking about Ruki and how he operates, and he is more calm. He'll sit there. He'll wake up and he'll just sit there and just meditate. I can tell he's just meditating. He's in a different way. He's a lot more cuddly. He likes to be, head a lot more and touch and just, he's a lot more cuddly and soft and things of that sort. And so I was sitting here thinking, I'm thinking about this um, dream that my aunt had years ago when I was like 17, 16. So I want to say 17. I feel confident in saying 17. I'm going to say it. 17 when we was at my great grandma's, I just call my grandma's church. Um, and my grandma, she was gonna have her church. She had connections because she wound up losing her church. I don't know why. Still young, never really looked into it afterwards. But she wound up losing the church, but she wasn't the main pastor over it. But she would have popped fine at church. Like we was having church on Sundays and daycares, okay? Because she was, she knew um, our old pastor that we was with. Long story. We ain't getting into it. And so she would have church, and still living on my mom's. We would have to listen. I'm not just like again, just still. I would fall asleep in church loud, and I'm not a snorer, but my head would be cocked back, okay, and I drool and all that. I would sleep in church. I am not. I'm an inquisitive person. I like to learn. I like to expand my mind. I like to grow. Yes, the community aspect of church is great, but I always came alive when it was time for the community time, when it was after service, after church. For as I'm saying it, after service, after church, yada, yada, yada. Like that's my time to shine. When it's time to come together, I'm there because I'm getting to learn about other people, whether I'm quiet or not. I was a very quiet child, but I shake. And so it's this energy of like, I would just be, I love to learn. I'm inquisitive, but not to the draining how any way. I mean, there's much in there for somebody. And uh and she had a dream, and she was like, she had me come up, she was like, "Yeah, I had a dream." And she was describing the dream and whatnot. And she's like, "You were pregnant." I'm like, and now at the time, I'm like, "Pregnant, girl? How is that possible?" She was like, "It doesn't have to be like that." And even my grandma broke it down. I want to break it down like, it doesn't have to be like that. And that's why I also loved my grandma, because she was an inquisitive person. She loved to travel. She was like, "It don't even mean all that." And she would go deep. Sometimes we wouldn't even open a Bible until the very end when she told us, like, okay, this is where this message came. But she would straight channel. She would allow people to speak during service. Like, it was always like Bible study with her, even on Sundays when it was supposed to be a service. I love that. I'm just like, oh. And so my aunt was like, "Yeah, you're pregnant, like you're pregnant with something." And I'm just like, she was like, "Yes," and then it's like big, and I'm just like, okay, all right, okay, you got it. But as it grew, and I think I said this before, it made me realize, like, obviously I was pregnant with gifts and understanding and dreams and goals and passions, right? But I didn't understand exactly what I was pregnant with. And spiritual pregnancies are not 9 months all the time. Sometimes they 2 months, sometimes they years, sometimes it's decades. You know what I'm saying? So literally, and so I'm just sitting there, I'm thinking about my two guys. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was able to pull from each of them. And then that led me to like, okay, that's why I have certain energies here and around me at certain times, and how it all works out. The universe is amazing and how things work out and how it shifts. And so I was like thinking that, and then I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. And not with the cats, it was like, okay, they both taught me something. Like, Sage would get on me like, okay, it's time to wake up and do your reading. It's time to wake up and do this. It's time to, like, he was on my ass. Spirit, because Spirit would be on his ass. Very active in that world. And so I was on go mode. And I have been on go mode for so long. Like, I got Sage 4 to 5 years ago. Like, I have been on go mode, enhancing my spiritual being, building my faith with spirituality, enhancing my spiritual gifts, the growth of things, and recognizing that and stimulating that and holding truth in that and helping others to hold truth in that, and just really advancing this, really taking it all in. And so with that, I was like, damn, that's exactly what I was doing. And so it's funny, like I said, I mentioned he's currently out in his explore world. And it's like, that is currently what Spirit has been asking me to do. Like, you need to recognize that you have built so much foundational relationships, connections, roots, and have so much progress and growth within the spiritual realm. Like, you've been doing this for years, even before you knew what you was doing. Before you knew it, like, there's a reason. And so when we recognize that I have been doing this for years, even when I was younger, and not even realize what I was doing, why I was saying it, the dreams I'll be having, and then they later come in, like, and and I'm glad I grew up in a family, Christian or not, where they really push using your gifts. They're like, that's a gift, that's a gift, that's a gift. And they would say, like, that's a gift. What you got right there is a gift. What you got right there, whether it was you can do hair really well, whether it was being able to dance, whether it was being able to pull a party together. Like, and it brought me back, thank you, Spirit. It brought me to when I went to my grandma's funeral. And I was not expecting to be that much of a wreck, because I just stopped talking to her, because I'm just like, she always start, I don't want to talk about the Bible all the time. So I just kind of stopped talking to her, and just kind of the relationship and that she allowed in the family. I'm like, you allowed a lot of things in the family. That is not fucking okay. Um, and then she kind of came to terms with it, but I'm just like, I don't, so our relationship was kind of strained when she passed. And so I wasn't realizing, and all the memories of us actually hanging out and talking and being together. Me and her, our house consisting. I love the way our house is set up. Mwah. That woman is where I get my style from. This old, it was always cozy there, except for when she was making chitlins. Cannot stand the smell of chitlins. Ugh. That's what I remember being- I say, but anyhow, anyway, and when I went there, I felt this pit in my stomach. And there was a preacher friend of hers, and she, requested some people to speak at her speak at her funeral. And I guess he was one of them. And when he said, it was like her spirit, her soul is still here, it still lives on. And she may not have accomplished all the dreams. And so now they're seeing you guys. And I immediately felt this pit in my stomach, like this gut wrenching feeling in my stomach. Gut wrenching is just such an easy word to say, but that's not what I was feeling. This throbbing in my stomach, Ashe, this motion in my stomach where I was like, oh man. And I had a ball of tissue right next to me. Y'all cried when I seen her in the casket. I still have to take a picture of her, my brother, because he wasn't there, but he went to ever just like, oh, this is so much. I am not one, like, I love death, but especially depending on how it's done, it's just like, but I don't mind crying and being sad around funerals because it also was fun afterwards, but it was fun because I made it fun, but we're going to get to that part. Ashe. A bird just I love when she just like, keep going, baby girl. Um, and so when I was there, and something just kept up because even as soon as I found out that she was transitioning, I started, just lighting the candles to give her patches and way, just to make it easy for her. And as soon as everybody was there, they was able to be there, even when we was on video screen because I was here and she was in Minnesota. She just released. She knew it was her time. 11:44. She knew when it was gonna be her time. She was ready. She was like, no, I ain't gonna lie. No, she knew down to the date. And um and I think it says I know it's when he comes back, Jesus, no man knows the minute or the hour of the day, but they also say that about death somewhere in the Bible. But it's like she knew. And it's like my grandma transcended something. And even when I was talking to another cousin of mine, and she was like, the energy around her room was so heavy and concentrated. You just knew God was getting closer to her, and they were in the room. And I'm just like, I can fucking believe it. Because that's how I always felt around her. I always felt that around her. So um, it's this energy when I was there, and then she kept telling me, like, go up there and say it. And there was a story, and I wound up telling the story that I remember that I heard even as she was transitioning, just kept ringing in my head. And it was just like, go say that story. And then after I told the story, I kept hearing, I stepped right over it and I put up my shoes. And it was a story about me applying lotion to her feet. And at the time I was a kid, I was like, I don't want to do it. And she had like bunions and stuff. And I was like, that is gross. But I didn't even realize her story of the reason why she had those bunions is because she was a part of the Great Migration. She had to travel a long time. She had to travel with a whole bunch of kids and a lot of bullshit husbands and men in life. And yeah, she did that supporting God, but she still had to do that. And then she traveled to Minnesota on her own and her kids. So it's just like, there's a reason why her feet look like this, feel like this. And I kept hearing that song over and over. And I'm asking people that are older that are also in the church that should know because it's a Christian fucking song. And some of them are pastors. And I'm like, what is this song? I keep hearing it. Nobody's getting it. And I'm like, damn. I guess the message really was just me. And I kept hearing it and I'm singing it. Nobody's getting it. And I'm like, all right, fine. So afterwards, after the funeral, the repast, afterwards we all go to my uncle's hotel room that he got so that everybody can kind of converse and da 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 with other family that was staying out of town, which I would have knew, because he wasn't staying in the hotel because he lives there, so I could have stayed there, but I didn't know that. But anywho, now that's the reason I'm talking to him. Anywho, now anyway, um, so with that being said, then we're all there and everybody's kind of like sitting. How hotels in the living room is like a set, like a form to like towards the TV, like it's So everybody there's bringing the chairs. Everybody just kind of sitting there, kind of having private conversation. You could kind of tell it's quiet. And a few more people were pouring. I'm like, okay, like we ain't gonna do nothing. Who's gonna take charge? And besides, I think one of my little cousins. Yeah, besides one of my little cousins, I'm the youngest person there. I'm the youngest one. Besides her, I'm the youngest person there. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not a person, like, I'm very introverted, right? Very, very introverted. But when I'm comfortable, I'm like, when I feel this urge, when I feel spiritual, when I'm confident, a white feather just flew down. I say, when I'm feeling confident, and I always say this, no matter what it is, if I'm confident in something, or if I'm confident enough that I can gather the knowledge and understanding and stand in that, baby, baby, I'm good to go. And so I'm like, I've thrown parties before, like I've hosted before, I've done that before, you know. Um, okay, I'm like, okay, let me download this game. Let me see. And I'm downloading it. I'm looking at it. I even get the little trials that we can have all the little things. It's like the little Blizzard game. So it's like the heads up from Black people. And so I'm like, hey, I got a game, because they all kind of converse. You could tell it's kind of like very uncomfortable, very heavy. We just got done from burying our mom, our cousin, our sister. Like, you can tell, like, I was, so it's very heavy, and it's different generations. They don't know how to converse. I'm like, the game is perfect. Why is nobody fucking thinking of a game? So I'm like, I got a game if anybody wants to play. And you can just see so many people physically and just emotion, just like, yeah, yeah, all right, come on, come on, come on. And they say my nickname, come on. Zizi, let's go. Yeah, what's the game? What's the game? We down. And my family, we love a party. We love a game. Like, that is it. And it was like they were just waiting for somebody to be like, let's do it. And it reminded me when I was on, when I spoke, and I was like, I was feeling this energy to speak and say the story. And after I said it, my aunts and uncles and cousins was coming up to me like, I'm so glad you said that. Like, I needed to hear that. And I needed you to speak. Or the uncle, she told me to go rub her feet. So my auntie was like, go rub for that. I was like, okay. And she was like, I didn't even remember I told you that. So thank you for reminding me of that story. Like, I didn't even remember that. So it's things where they were coming to me like, thank you. And so for that to also happen in the same instance, back to the hotel with, again, these people that are older than me, people that watched me, whooped my ass when I got in trouble, steered me, that, raised me, that dance, all these things were coming to me saying that, like, oh my god. So afterwards, I'm like, okay, we're playing a game, everybody getting into it. Now the drinks is really flowing, the energy is like, okay, I didn't cry. All right. Oh yeah, they ain't got over me. Okay, I didn't cry, I didn't release, and it was like this energy of being able to pull and recognize this. I have been doing this. I have been. And I was able to pull into that and be like, yeah, I got this. And it reminds me what I said in the reading when I was like, imagine you practice something and doing something. Somebody say, hey, can you do it? And you don't trust yourself enough to do it when the time arises. Or you do trust yourself when the time arises because you have been doing it. You're confident. You know what the fuck you know. And so when we doing that, after it gets in a full swing and starts separating, I'm noticing the conversation starting to flow a lot more authentically. I'm just, all right, my job here is done. My job here is complete. And I had my uncle that grabbed the hotel that was, kind of set to host, but it was also her son. He was like, thank you. Like, you did that. You, like, brought us all together. You set it up. Thank you, niece. Like, I appreciate you, because I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, oh, of course. We love a good game. I love a good game. And I figure, why not? And for me, again, to be one of the youngest people in the room, literally, I'm thinking about all my cousins. Yeah, even my cousins that I grew up with that we play together is about a year older than me. A year and some months older than me. Or years older than me. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like this meaning. And the reason why I brought up Sage Ruby, because I was sitting there and then brought me to that story about it was like the two connecting. And you've been watching, I've been having dreams about twins. And so it reminded me of there's always more than one gift. There's always more than one way to enhance that gift. My inquisitiveness, my knowledge, my knowing, my listening to spirit allowed me to tell that story in the beginning and release some people and help some people. you know, my and that was, that sage getting on my ass, my calmness, my nurturing energy, and allowing that to still be shown extrovertedly. Like I said, I'm very like, somebody ain't gonna take charge, but I'm also cardinal energy. I'm gonna take lead. Like, bitch, I need to change the atmosphere because I'm not gonna be sitting in this atmosphere and everybody's okay and everybody feeling it and not feeling it but don't know how to change it. No, I'm gonna change this shit or rearrange it. And so, it just reminded me, it was like I just felt like in that moment I gave birth to a new creation. And sometimes that's why spiritual things and being spiritually pregnant is like you are giving birth to a new creation. It can just be a whole new you. And so it was this energy of realizing this outseeing of things of like, damn, it really did come into play because I was like, okay, like I've done this before and I'm gonna be here. We're gonna do this. Um, and so I really just felt compelled, like Spirit's like, yeah, I'm like, and I was gonna do like a 3 minute video, but it didn't feel long enough to say this message to get it out. And it's just like, it really comes down to the mundane things of everyday life. And I keep looking at Ruby. I keep thinking about stages like the mundane things of me just taking care of them every day, paying attention to them every day, them and being able to recognize how they play a part in my life to change myself. But also thinking about older things and how I was raised and how I was set up and how I was fed into. That's a gift. That's a gift. That's a gift. Even when I was talking to my cousin about the dream that she was having or things of that sort and just talking, and she was just like, yeah, that is a gift. Like, you are advanced. Like, feed it. And it's things where it's like that. And even her, and I love her. Like, I love me a Capricorn. Yeah. But she was even just talking about knowledge has really ruined us as a family in a lot of ways because certain things that we set up or think to be or set to be. Um, and that stuff. But even when I was just talking about, because we were talking about different religions, and she prays, she's in a prayer, like okay, I love it now. I love when people do it in a way that is spiritual for them, that is healing for them, and it's actually working for them. And not in an obsessive way. You can tell when somebody's doing it in an obsessive way. So I got an aunt that does it in an obsessive way just because it's something to do every day. And I got a cousin that does it in a way that's like, this is actually a way to spiritually awaken, to spiritually change in a way that's almost like my grandma did. I love it. Ashe. And who know anyway, some people think because they connected that way that they automatically connected spiritually. No, just because you know that is not how it works. You actually have to sit in there. Don't play. When you're gonna learn, you actually have to be inquisitive enough to learn and listen. But we were just sitting on her cousin just asking, and she was just asking. We were just talking about different religions, and I was like, yeah. I was like, it kind of reminds me of what you're doing, kind of like what Muslims do. They do it 5 times a day at certain times, facing this to get that connection to zoning out. And so she was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they did it only like, so she didn't know. And I was like, yeah, like Buddhist. And then we were just talking about it. And she was like, I didn't know this. That's cool. And so that, and she would ask questions, not just, oh, she was like, and so what about this? And so you can tell, and this is somebody that just got a prayer group. You can tell somebody that's doing it spiritually. Nah, she already, let's switch religions. It's like, I'm doing this spiritually to see how they're connected. And I wasn't doing the way like, yeah. It was like, yeah. Just like, blah, blah, blah. And then that's how they set it up. And so just like, too, because I see it as a human relational connection to spirit. If that's how you are able to do that with spirit, then do it. Do it. Set it up. Allow that to be there. Allow that to be present for you. So I'm saying all this to say sometimes that pregnancy, and even for myself, because sometimes I've been talking like I'm talking to y'all. Sometimes I'm talking about a I love it. Okay, I say, and so sometimes when you're pregnant in the spirit, it can feel like it's a lot to continuously upkeep. It's like I said, it's a mundane thing. You take when you're pregnant, you take your prenatals every day. You drink water. Like, these are mundane things that you do every day. Things that you do every day that add to your life because it is your life. You know what I'm saying? So Me just doing car readings every day for myself and journaling and reading different books and traveling and just being allows that and allow me to center a group of people in a powerful way, whether that was through the game, whether that was through the speech. But once you're called upon, be ready to give birth. Be ready when you start feeling that contractions, right? And contractions, when you're about to give birth, that big relief, and you typically also got to give birth twice technically because you got to get out the placenta, okay? So we're thinking about, because when people say I was in labor for 32 hours, they're talking about from the start of contractions. Some people don't know that. That's okay. We're learning. It starts from contractions, not from the time that you start pushing, from the time that you start dilating, feeling contractions, because that is also the process of giving birth. Not just push, baby's here. Because that, for some, sometimes can be, sometimes, I don't even want to say, well, it didn't even study it outside, but from it ain't, sometimes it's the quickest part. Sometimes. Ashe. So it's this energy of recognizing if you're pregnant with something, you're feeding it and you're nurturing it. Are you going to be ready for those contractions to happen? When you are, I'm trying to think about some of my own contractions to possibly help spirit. Let me listen to the water. To set it up to get there, it was a lot of confliction with self, figuring out things, recognizing things. I was getting a lot of downloads. It was like my grandma gave me one of the biggest revelations on the day that she died about some people around me. I'm just like, oh shit. Okay. You want me to deal with this now or like later? What are we doing? Um and so it was a lot coming in. It was figuring out to get there where I was gonna stay. And so it may not sound like a lot, but they were spaced out. It was like me grieving, me living, me changing. This is just with the situation of funeral. So okay, situating that, and then me going up and feeling and just crying and seeing her and getting out the meshes. That was another contraction. These were contractions. I was getting more and more dilated to this understanding of why I was doing that. And then people were coming up to me and was like, oh, okay, all right, shit. Right? And not saying this is one of the only times that, my spiritual ego has been fed in the best way. But this is one that I'm thinking of because it was on my mind. Ashe. And so with pushing it there, I'm just like, okay, and I kept having different contractions and different conversations, and I just kept dilating and dilating. And even with the okay, so then we have another contraction and another contraction. I'm just like, okay, now I'm here. Now we're doing a party, right? And after that, I was like, okay. But the part that really gave birth, thank you, because I may have misspoke earlier. The part that really gave birth was after came back and smoked and I was high and I was just like, yeah, that's me. And I was saying it in front of everybody. I don't care. Because this whole time I have not technically cared. It just has been in a way that has been acceptable. And those that show me love, like the people that gave me their coat, and it was okay with me having their coats for a little bit of, okay, shouts out to you. So just certain things, just like, but they still gave me love, they still was taking pictures. So it's like, okay, are you gonna see me and me still? And again, I wasn't saying the word like, yeah, bitches. I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm God laughing and giggling like, yeah, it's me. That's and so they still gave that love because it was like that is continuously who we have seen. And then we was playing the game, like, y'all know who my mom is. Like, give me these, like, come on. And I'm still showing me. And so in these ways, that's why I brought up the black cats, my cats. It's like they still were showing themselves, no matter how different they are. Because also, Seriously get really cuddly. He just like to cuddle my feet, which is reminds me of what I used to do. So my old best friend I used when we sleep, head to feet, I would hold her feet. I don't know why. Very comfortable though. But she was also very comfortable, but it worked for her. And I didn't realize that. I don't think about it. Another dollar. I'm thinking about it. She would do this thing where she would kind of rock her leg. Pisces shit and the asteroid shit. And so I guess subconsciously after a while I would just went out there. I'm like, okay, this is our second time seeing together. She did that. Let me hold that leg. And we just see and she wouldn't do it. And so I would just be half asleep because I'm a light sleeper. Okay. But when I'm tired, I'm going to adjust myself to sleep how I need to. And okay, especially if I'm comfortable. I was very comfortable. I'll hold her leg and we just go back to sleep. So it, it's certain things where even in the spiritual world where it's like I don't realize sometimes what I'm doing just in the mundane, in the everyday life, that is the magic. Like I said, I hosted parties before. But even before that, I love, gathering and getting people together. Let's play a game. Let's do this. Let's set it up. And so with taking in this understanding, it's like your everyday life is creating opportunities. And sometimes it's a quick pregnancy, but are you ready for those dilations, for those contractions? And sometimes it could just be overcoming. Because I was like, I do not want to get up there. I ain't seen these people in years, and I'm going to speak. And I ain't talked to grandma in years, but grandma was telling I heard her voice as loud and as clear as they can be. Get up there. She kept telling me, I'm like, I don't know. I'm crying. I got up there. I'm so glad I'm so good. I was like, okay, we just gonna sit around. Am I gonna wait? But I'm like, I'm not a fucking kid anymore. Why, then they know I can't take lead, and even then I could take lead. Okay, but or where I was a kid and I would just retreat. No, I'm gonna just go retreat. I'm gonna go retreat. It's like, no, let me take charge. And it was like, yeah. What is it? You can just see the relief. So it's like me doing everyday things like that, where I'm outspoken. I'm just being me. I'm just being me. It allows for a birth for when it is time to truly be me. To truly set it up. All those times my mom had us dancing at those nursing homes and dancing in front of the church and dancing at different events, praise dancing to get the spirit of water. Now I'm okay with being like, yes, baby. The cards have said I'm getting chain up mention this. Let's see what the church, because I was out there doing it from young where I'm that. Let me go ahead and share you. Let me go ahead and talk. And then where I was, I ain't been a nurse home in years for that reason, but it always smelled like death to me. And they're like, it's just the soap and stuff that it smelled like death. And there's no other way for me to put it. And there's a tree that also lived in Minnesota that also lived in Minnesota, probably still does, where it smells like death and it's purple. And it smelled exactly like, and it's literally known for its smelling like death. And I'm like, this, y'all can't distinguish this. And so, but we were, afterwards, like you praise dance, you go talk to them, yada yada, yada, and you interact with them, and which is crazy because little kids and old people together, like you start taking, but that seems like we're kids. But anyways, anyhow, but that taught me how to, like I said, bridge those interactions where I'm just like, I'm not quite sure, but I have them. Go talk to them. Go talk. Go talk. Go talk. All right, mom. And it prepared me for moments like that where I'm even around people that I have known in my life where it's like, go talk. Or when I'm not, I'm okay with working a room and not working a room. I was looking at old videos of myself where I was like, oh, I was at these events, I was talking and I was doing this. And I remember an old friend of mine would throw these events. And there was a time where we were closing out. And I was like, I just want to say something. I just want to say something. And my best friend was so happy. She's like, yes, get up there. Yes. I'm happy to hear you. Waiting for you to take the mic. Literally her words. And I was like, yes. And so I'm just like, how we all doing in it? Yeah. I said, no, how we all doing? How we all doing? And yeah. And so I'm just speaking life into them. I'm having them repeat after me affirmations. I am the best at what I do. I love it. I'm speaking life like I And later then, and afterwards, I was like, all right, love you, don't I love you, but love yourselves more. I will always say, love you, but love yourselves more. You can follow me in my podcast. So it's like, I have been doing this. When it's time for me to grab the mic, when it's time for me to work a room, when it's time for me to talk to people, I'll do it. And when I'm comfortable, which is funny what you also brought up the store, when I'm comfortable, when I'm confident, when I know I can. And sometimes even when I'm not sure I can, I pull on something of past knowledge, of past wisdom, of past strength, because that's the foundation I built. So when I'm shaking my boots, like, I don't know. It's just like, fuck it, I'm going to say it. Or sometimes I'll ask for the mic. And either way, I have to ask for the mic because I have to be like, can I? I have to cross the whole sanctuary to get in. Okay. So doing it in the Monday, the reason why I brought up both of their patterns is because what you would do every day, like, the nigga's like a panther, okay? Each time I see him, he's like a big ass panther, okay? Very protective, but he had this spiritual knowledge. Now he's had this spiritual knowledge. It's funny because I named him Sage. Nigga is literally like Sage, walking Sage. Ruhi. I did rehome him, but it's this energy of that rehoming energy of being accepted, being loved. Let me see if I can show him right now. I don't think it can flip. Okay. Look at him chilling. Can you see? Look at him chilling. So it's this energy of him being comfortable, to be vulnerable. He's always sleeping belly up. He's always ready for the love, to express that love. But he also be like, hey, I ain't in the mood. I'm protecting, he know how to protect himself too. I seen him punk some shit out of a cat, okay? So it's just this energy of when it is needed, they can both pulling it. Because like I said, Sage can also get comfortable. And so it's like that leading to the life around you. What are you taking in? What are you consuming? I hope this is all making sense because it's all making sense to me. But also, I'm an unmedicated ass bitch. I said unmedicated. Okay. Alrighty. But anyways, I say I actually need to set up a therapist appointment. That's what I need to do. Look, go to therapy. Therapy, look at me. And if you know me, I don't do therapy. But I'm doing it. So setting up the therapy appointment is what I need to do. I say. Like I said, I'm unmedicated. Never said I'm not getting my shit taken care of. Get your shit taken care of. Because you might not need medication, you might just need release. Ashe. So with that being said and done, moving back before moving on, telling y'all all my business, but I'm okay with that because this is going on a self journey. Step into that mundane of everyday things. And when I go out by myself, I always love to travel and go out on myself. I remember I used to go out for work and I'd be like, I don't know where I'm going today, but I know I don't want to go straight home. I know I'm gonna take the long way home, maybe. Sometimes I will go home. But it's this energy of like that also allowed me to be like, okay, I like to travel. I like to move. I like to go away. I shake confirmation work for me. I know what that means. So it's like that's just who I am. And so I'm leaning into that, and that allowed me to open so many doors. So what are you doing in your mundane life that is truly actually something that you're nurturing your pregnancy for? Your rebirth for? Because right after that, I came back, I opened bookings and readings again. Not like right after, because it was some time. It was just a little bit of time. But I was setting it up. I was setting up the platform. I was setting up the readings I was going to do. I was practicing those readings even more just to really rev up the skill. But it's like I was still doing it. And then I was like, when I was ready to launch, I was a little nervous. I was a little scared. I'm like, But I was like, I know I can do it. I have been doing it. I've been asking people if I can do it for them for free, and now I'm just like, I'm just charging it now. That's the only difference. Or I'm like, you know what? All right. Oh, you can't go to the concert, or you don't want to do that. It's like I've been walking by myself for years, doing it for years, going to myself by place for years, or just even when I'm around people it's like I can do that. Now I continue to go to concerts. I can't wait to book the concerts I'm booking, baby. Can't wait to book the trips I'm booking because I do it. And so it's like if I'm just recognizing in my everyday life that I'm doing something, what baby am I nurturing? My little, there we go. Oh, I got a way of speaking. I don't. There we go. What am I nurturing? What am I setting up? What am I truly going to give birth to? And so when Shumanji told me that, I'm like, birth? What you mean? Didn't even realize. And now I'm just been having dreams about being pregnant. I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I can't even get pregnant. So just like the spirituality of what are you giving birth to? What are you feeding? And what will soon be born from that creation? And I was told that when I was 17. I wound up launching technically my podcast when I was 18. Wound up dismantling it, then come back. If you know the story, you know the story. But I've been doing it. And now I am 28 going into 29, a whole decade. Where it's like I feel like it has actually been fully birthed, fully recognized, fully out of the womb, fully like, okay, now we're really, really taking care of it. Now it has words. Now it can kind of walk. Now it can, now it's time to set it up, to do this, to be more bold, but to do it in your way. I don't know. I do know. I do know. But if you get it, you got it, So that has been my channel messages. That has been my download. That has been my little story, my little rant, my little insight, all the good things. But that is just how I'm just like, damn. It's this energy I hold. And I've been feeding it. Mm. There's a reason I was asking some people, like, they don't know that song. They don't know that song, baby. And then the reason why it's so crazy, because the Spirit just gave it to me. When I heard that song, it was when we was at another event, praise dancing. It was another event, praise dancing, when we was younger. And it was something that was going to be recorded and taped, VHS type tape. Look, I'm the ass, baby. I've been a star from the beginning. I've been a star, baby. And it was going to be broadcasted everywhere. At least on our local networks. Okay, but still, I'm a star, baby. I'm a star. Everywhere. And there was a woman, and it was like different people going in, and you would have your time slot there. And then another person. So while everybody else is doing stuff, I was watching, because you're able to watch in the back room, like on a big screen, and see what they're doing while they're recording him. So great. I've been on set since the beginning. And so with that, it was a woman that was singing, and I think she had a choir bar. I'm trying to remember exactly, but like it was dark, and then all you see is the screen. I'm a child, and you get it out of here, out of way. Spirit is giving it to me exactly. But it was a woman, and she had on this brown boss ass church suit with her nice hat, like she knows she was gonna be on screen, baby. And she sung that song. I done my duty. And I kept hearing, I've done my duty. I've done my duty. Us up north is we gonna elongate them vowels. And I stepped right over, and she kept saying, and I kept hearing at the funeral. And when that man said she's done what she can do, she's done her duty, did it, her soul's and spirit lives on, and somebody's gonna carry it to her. And I'm just like, and I kept hearing them song. And that's why I realized somebody else heard it, because I was alone in the room. They was out doing other things, and then I was told to sit there. I sat there. That's what I was told to do. And I heard that woman. And at first I was like, dang. But then I was like, damn, that's a catchy song. I think maybe my other sibling was there. I think maybe my older brother was there. I think because, yeah, she wouldn't have left me alone. It was one of my siblings for sure was there. But they weren't there at the time. So I'm asking these people, I'm just like, dang. But I kept hearing I've done my due day. And like I said, she knew exactly when she was going. But it was like this energy of, I have been gathering knowledge and information and remembrance since I was little. It's like this song, and those parts stick with me. And every now and again, I sing it right before a big transformation, a change, a shift where it's like, okay, I've done my duty here. I've shifted here. I've done what I needed to do. And when I hear that, it's almost like a calling sign. Oh my God, I'm crazy. A crawling sign, where it's just like, um, you done your duty here. You can release this person, you can release this energy, you can release this comment. And so it's like sometimes I be rushing, but it's like I already know the telltale signs. Relax. And so now I'm in my relaxing phase. Like I said, I've been working kind of like when I had Rui, and then when I'm Sage, and then I got Rui, and I was told to like relax. So now I've been getting told by Spirit to relax, slow down. I have put in the footwork. It's like if a wall is already built in your house and it's not broken, like you already built in a solid as foundation, why do you keep going back trying to? No, no, no. But I can reinforce the wall. And it's like everything is built. I've already built the foundation, the pillars, the walls. It's built. Nothing more I need to do but just sit and relax and enjoy what I have built and allow more to come in, because now it has a place that's stable. Now it has a place that's confident. Now it has a place that's sure. Now it has a place that's like, yes, whether it's physical or not, because even when I didn't have a physical place, I still was doing what I love, still was doing what I needed to do, still was doing what my purpose is. Bless you, baby. So even when I did, it's like this. I always say this is going to be your first home, your first sacred space, your first energy, and your main one, because this is the home that enters every other energy in space. But I have been talking, channeling, rambling, enlightening, sharing, provoking, all the good things. Okay. But yeah, they just really stuck with me. Take from your mundane. What are you feeding? What are the prenatals that you're giving it? Are you hydrating? Are you exercising? Are you really putting in the work for your life to continuously be crafted in a way where when you are dilating and in those contractions and you know you can't eat beforehand, so you could be dealing with some stomach issues, because I know I have, and just like because you might poop yourself. So it's like, don't shit yourself. Just go, recognize the dilations and contractions and go from there. You got this. I love you. Love yourselves more. Until next time.